Storm Amy is brewing out in the Atlantic. It's going to impact the UK during Friday. Before that, though, we also have some heavy rain to contend with from this large mass of cloud. The satellite picture right across the Atlantic shows Amy starting to form. A long way away at the moment, doesn't look too intense, but that will change. Before Amy gets to us, though, we do have to contend with these weather fronts pushing their way slowly northwards. For a good chunk of the country, it's a fine day out there, but the rain has already been pretty heavy. There's brighter colours on the radar across Northern Ireland, extending now into western Scotland, where it has been very wet for much of the week. The rain could cause some issues, so we do have Met Office yellow warnings in place. Some of that patchy rain getting into North Wales, maybe northwest England at times, but much of England and Wales and a good part of eastern Scotland staying dry and bright out there. The breeze is steadily picking up and the winds will strengthen further through the afternoon and evening across western coasts. Coming up from the south, though, so relatively mild air, temperatures getting up to 20 degrees with some brightness across parts of eastern England. Obviously, it's cooler where we've got the rain set in across Northern Ireland and western Scotland. Not just wet here, but as I said, getting windy. Those winds really picking up through the evening and overnight. Very blustery. The rain continuing to cause issues. A lot of spray, a lot of surface water on the roads. It's getting quite heavy for a time, particularly for southwest Scotland. Does then shoot through across England and Wales, so we'll see a spell of rain moving through here, but it shouldn't last too long, and the winds will start to ease in western areas through the night as well. With more clouds and some rain around, it'll be a much milder night across the south. Temperatures in some towns and cities holding up in the teens, whereas further north a little cooler than recent nights, but still fairly mild for October. OK, what happens during Friday? Well, we start quite wet across East Anglia and the southeast. That rain should be scooting away. Elsewhere, it's kind of the calm before the storm, because here comes Amy, spreading rain back into Northern Ireland through the morning and then into western Scotland during the afternoon. Some heavy pulses of rain getting into Northern Ireland later in the day, then getting into western Scotland. Remember, we've had a very wet week here, so this extra rain could cause some flooding, and then it turns very wet too over parts of northwest England to end the day. So again, rain warning in place here. Elsewhere, we'll see some outbreaks of rain working across England and Wales after some dry conditions for a time. Much of the south just staying cloudy but largely dry. And then the winds really start to pick up. The winds really whipping up through the course of Friday afternoon and into the evening. Temperatures, well, mid to high teens, but again, kind of irrelevant with the wind and the rain. They're the main features from this system. The winds continuing to strengthen during the evening over Northern Ireland, western parts of Scotland and in around Irish Sea coasts. You can see the swirl now. That's Amy just knocking on the door by the time we get to Friday evening. And that's when the greatest cause for concern is really through the night with the strength of the wind. Let's track Amy back, however, and see how it develops over the next 24 hours or so. So kind of this is where it is through the first part of Thursday. It's kind of just meandering around out in the Atlantic, not really doing much. This is the jet stream, the winds high in the atmosphere, kind of nudging Amy along, but not doing too much to it. But it's as we go through Thursday night and into Friday, Amy crucially crosses the jet stream, and that's when the isobars start jumping out of it. The jet stream really intensifying Amy into a fully blown storm as we go through Friday night and into the early hours of Saturday morning. Look at the number of isobars across it now, particularly in this southwestern corner of the storm. That's where the strongest winds are likely to be, so particular focus across northwest Scotland during the early hours of Friday morning. That's where we've got the amber warning in place. But there's a broad yellow warning covering a good chunk of Wales, Northern England, Northern Ireland and all of Scotland. The strongest winds, as I said, likely to be across parts of north and northwest Scotland, where we could see gusts of 90 plus miles an hour. Quite widely, we'll see gusts of 60 to 70 miles an hour, 50 to 60 quite widely in the yellow warning area. Those kind of gusts likely to bring down branches, if not full trees, and that could cause some significant travel disruption, along with the likelihood of power issues. There's the rain warnings as well, which could also cause some flooding. Notice much of the south not currently in warning areas. So large parts of the country are not really going to see too many issues from Storm Amy. It will be wet and windy for a time, but not too many issues expected at this stage across the south. Obviously, that storm has got to develop. It's got to cross the jet stream, so things can change a little bit. So do stay up to date with everything over the next day or so, particularly those weather warnings. They're on our app and, of course, on our website. And if you haven't done already, you probably want to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get regular updates.